Here's some applause for you. I like Geronimo a lot, and so a critic listened to it, likes the song a lot, says, listen to Geronimo. There's a seed so that other people can listen to Geronimo. Steve Gilligan hands me the Monkees record while we're at the Dead Wax Record show up in the Hilton in Burlington. So he had a table next to me with, Kenny Seltzer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Kenny and Steve were at the table next to me at the Dead Wax Record thing, and Steve hands me this. And he goes, best track on it is I'm Not Your Stepping Stone. Which he loves all the music on it, but he was saying, wow, it's just amazing.
Yep.
He just
That's
really
very
loved
kind.
it.
He
So,
told me that too. That's very nice,
Very,
very
very
sweet of him.
kind.
so you got two compliments, Geronimo and Stepping Stone, and that's more than a lot of people get. So at least it resonated with people. Now you take that and you just spin it out,
Of course.
Joe Vig says Geronimo. Steve Gilligan says Stepping Stone. It's a groundswell.
Well,
MC4.
well,
the new Beatles.
It feels good. Sometimes it doesn't translate into that which you want, which is more people to come see you, which is more plays on radio, which is more commentary in press. These are when you become public. These are things you want. I mean, it's very simple. I don't know if blogs satisfy that enough competently. I don't know how to phrase this, Clara, because I mean you're obviously from use your Twitter, you use your tweets, you use your blogs, stuff like that, which I don't do. So I'm a little bit removed from that.
Well, I shook the political landscape in Medford with the blog, okay, and I just changed it around today. But we affected change in Medford a lot, and Medford's like a bunch of old politicians who've been in there forever, and we, by going to the city council week after week with the Medford blog, we have done some amazing, I mean, we've changed things.
That's the idea. I mean, it doesn't matter whether it's politics, whether it's music, art. I mean, you're trying to stimulate an interest in something, but how you focus it towards that,
I have 112,000 hits today.
Oh, wonderful.
From Medford. More people are reading the blog than are reading the mainstream media in Medford because I'm putting the stuff out that the politicians didn't want out. And and people are sending me stuff in the mail anonymously. I check it out. Okay, put it up, and it's amazing the hits because people want to read it.
And do you know those are real people? So when you say you got 1,200 hits, do you know those?
No, 112,000.
112,000. Do you know those are unique hits, or
Well,
is that?
There's some people that read it religiously, but I go to city council and a politician come up to me Tuesday night and said, "Joe, love the blog." He introduced himself, said thank you, because I had put him up there, right? But I didn't know him from Adam. I just, and then a woman the week before, she goes, "Here's my card, Joe. I love reading your blog," and it's like,
That's great.
And you're getting the stuff in the mail, it's from different people, and it's like, but we've affected change, and it's the video camera too, and the TV, and uploading to YouTube, but the combination of it all.
Right.
All of a sudden, these politicians can't get away with just being laissez-faire. It's more apathy than anything that we were up against. So we're like with the blog, it's like, okay, you can't be apathetic now. We kind of force them into issues, and then the issues come up at the council, and then there's change, and then the Main Street press is reprinting it, but we were first. So it's interesting that we could do it politically. And where did I get the skills, Curt? From the music scene, right?
Well, yeah, you've done that for years, right?
And they didn't see it coming. He's just some rock and roll. Well, he's also a writer, and so it worked. You can do that with music. You can take it and, you can go nuts on a Paul Revere lead singer, Mark Lindsay. And what I love about this is that just a striking cover.
I didn't recognize it when I first saw it.
It's bright, yes.
It's just those pop art. It's just so cool. And that's the audience he's hitting. But I'm talking too much.
All right.
The
I think
X's,
you're doing fine.
The X's extended into MC, Mr. Curt.
Well, I've kept my continuity going, so I've just changed with different people I've met through the years and different visions I've had for what I want to do musically.
The X's were in the 90s?
Late 80s to the mid 90s, right.
And then what did the X's evolve into?
And that's when I first, Donna and I moved to Hyde Park, and we moved to a different section of town, so I was a little bit removed from Boston. And that's how I met the people in Rosendale, and that was Tim and Low Budget, and they had their whole situation running, and I just, infiltrated that. And I said, I just like the low-key attitude, entertaining for the community, little coffee houses here and there, and it just suit me fine. And then I ended up playing with them for a while, and they helped me put out my first solo album, which was like a compilation of stuff I'd done through the years.
Wonderful Beatles cover on it, which I was playing. I was on MFO radio at the time.
It's Only Love.
It's Only Love. Nice version.
Right. I mean, these are projects I had done through the years, as we both do. We continue to do projects apart from our group endeavor. I mean, there are so many people doing that now. I mean, so many young people or even old people have 5 bands running at the same time.
Why didn't the Beatles think of that?
Because that was in the era of when a single group unity was paramount.
So they had to split up.
Right. I mean, even when they gave, well, no, not so they didn't have to split up, but they did. Even when they would give songs to other people, like Paul was very famous for writing under pseudonyms, just so the attachment of like a Beatle with that wouldn't propel the music, where the music would create its own magic, I mean, Peter and Gordon, we went to see Peter Asher once.
Oh. Where? Johnny D's?
Johnny D's.
I missed it. I wanted to go.
It was
that
wonderful.
I wanted to see.
Donna and I went with Bill and Ruby, and we really enjoyed it. And he talked about that. The Beatles, especially Paul, wanted to downplay the association, even though he had written them a bunch of hits and stuff. And I don't know where I was going with this, but just the idea. You do a lot of music, you do a lot of projects, and then you can
it's a lot of
compile them and become something else, right?
I could have saved the Beatles. The Beatles like to copy the Beach Boys, and the Beach Boys like to copy the Rolling Stones, et cetera, right?
Okay.
Brian Wilson produced like a couple of Beach Boys' wives, his wife and another wife. Spring. See, great minds think alike. Had Paul and John just produced Yoko and Linda together, Linda on the keyboards, Yoko wailing, the band would still be together today. Spring too. They could have called it summer. They could have. 10, which means we got 5 minutes, and then we talk to our film critic Frank Dell'Estrito about Meet John Doe.
Okay. Meet John.
We play public domain movies on Friday night.
Okay.
I don't know if Arlington did that.
Meet John Doe, is that
like a public
Jimmy
domain
Stewart?
movie.
Who's
Probably.
in it?
Probably.
Who was in Meet John Doe?
You're going to find out in
John.
4.5 minutes. So we have 4.5 minutes, and I'll give you the floor. It's your whatever you want to talk about.
Well, we'd like to talk about the new group, which is MC4, which is one character beyond MC3.
And who's this one character? I don't know this person.
Clara had a band maybe about 8 years ago called the Jumblies.
Yeah.
Clara, hit
Jumblies?
Yeah, Jumblies. And so we played a lot in the Boston area and in the U.S. and had overseas air and stuff like that. So speaking of blogs and electronic, that's how we got that, was because, again, through electronic publicists publicizing through the internet and PR and stuff like that. So Goss was our drummer during that time, or during the second iteration of that band. And so when Mike retired,
our original drummer in the Mr. Curt ensemble left. We played as a trio. We recorded this album as a trio with drum programming and stuff like that, just to add to the coloration. And then I wanted to continue doing this, and Clara mentioned Goss being interested in joining us, so we're trying that now. We've taught him all these tunes, and he's ready to go out and beat some drums and create a ruckus and help us promote this new album, Half Bubble Off Flum, just released a month ago.
Yeah.
Now, how do you say that, Jumbly? How do you spell that?
Jumblies.
So the Jumblies, Jumblies, this is a supergroup. It's like the Blind Faith of underground Boston music. It's the half the Jumblies and half a Third Rail is the new MC4. Not to be, and they're gonna, and their next record, the new hit is Kick Out the Jams.
No, it's not. Don't mislead your audience, Joe. It's not
Kick
going
Out
to be
the
that.
Jams. John Sinclair's going to produce.
John, he's going to come hunt me down. He's going to hunt me down.
The Black
He'll
Panthers are going to be
me.
part of it.
He'll
The White
throttle me.
Panthers. It's going to be awesome.
Do you know the MC5?
Not very well.
Have you ever heard them?
Kick Out the Jams.
Well, I was going to say there's the MC3 rap group. I've seen that somewhere online.
What is it?
It's a rap group out of Colorado.
MC3.
It's like a I was surprised by that as well. So.
Kick out the jams.
Don't listen to
Check out the
MC3, the rap
jams.
group. Listen to
We're
MC3,
not- yeah.
the acoustic
Now, see,
pop group.
There's the Electro record, Kick Out the Jams, beep, and it's beeped out. And then there's the Kick Out the Jams, and then the word I'm not going to say because we're not in the safe harbor. And you can find the vinyl, and it's very rare. Those were the fun days.
Okay.
You don't get those fun days anymore.
Well, they
But-
changed it to brothers and sisters.
Oh, was that what it was? Kick
Yeah,
Out the Jams,
but-
brothers and sisters. You have
right,
a better
but that's-
memory than me.
Yeah. You know what the other word is, right?
Yeah, I was going to say it, but I'm not going to say
I
it.
can
'cause we're
say
in the
it.
safe- No, don't say it. Don't say it.
Mother effers. You know, I didn't say anything.
Father.
Yeah, that's it.
You
But
can
that's
do
the
the father
thing.
thing.
It was the era. It was the time. It was great.
It was John Sinclair.
It was rocking in the streets.
And but
I'll
what?
play it for you sometime.
There we
Clara.
go. There we go.
See, but nowadays you can put out the extended mix of Stepping Stone on the Beatles, the Monkees compilation, and the shorter version here. But we have 2.5 minutes, so we're gonna talk for another minute, and then we're gonna call Frank Delastrito.
Excellent.
Thank you for being on my show.
Thank you, Joe, for
Thank
having
you
us.
very
and
much.
It's always been a pleasure knowing you my whole life. So there.
Public access history, because Curt and I are from the Paleolithic era.
And it's very nice to meet you for the first time. So it's
Yes.
great.
And maybe you can play the Wynn Casino, which looks like Bose speakers. You see those?
Can you get us a gig there?
Well,
If you can hook it
I'll
up,
get
we'll
on
do it.
McGlynn's water taxi. Mary McGlynn wants a water taxi. That's what our blog will be addressing next.
Okay.
And the $8 million water taxi, you'll play on the water taxi going to the Bose speakers, but it'll be coming out of the speakers. Because it's going to be all Dinky Dawson 1-inch speakers through the whole tower. As you're on the water taxi on the Mystic, you could do Van Morrison's Into the Mystic coming from the Bose speakers.
I was going to say stick us on the roof, and then we can do that also.
Your
I'm
mama's
down
on the
with
roof. That's Chachi. He's one of my next guests.
Let's write a song called "Stick Us on the Roof."
Stick us on the roof. We can do that. Work that out.
Okay, let's get it before he hangs up. And sing it on the roof.
Did you have fun?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Talking about movies.
Are we talking about Meet John Doe?